All right. Good evening, everybody. So, sorry, as I adjust in my chair. Okay. So, Amanda and I wanted to, jump on again and discuss it because some people weren't responding last week with some of the questions. So I hope that everyone joining us tonight has listened to the call from last week. And I hope that everybody who had questions commented so that I have my list that I went through before the call. I have questions that everybody was asking. And a huge part of it is inviting, which definitely seems to be a big aspect. It's one of the most important parts of coaching, but it's also something that can be really difficult for some people. They hit a lot of walls when it comes to inviting. So I think we'll start off with that in case Amanda needs to jump off part of the way through. We're going to dive into inviting first, and then I'll answer some of the other questions later. And so Amanda, I'm going to unmute you, Amanda. You are unmuted, and why don't you start off with the psychology of inviting, or what you had planned for inviting?
Excellent. Okay. Can you tell me who's on the call first, since I can't see anybody?
Valency, Pam, and myself are on the call.
Okay, perfect. Hey guys. So I think, and we've gone over this a couple times, I think the easiest thing in inviting is, obviously it's very difficult and unprofessional and awkward to invite somebody you don't have a relationship with or you haven't talked to in the past. I made the mistake when I first started of completely blind inviting, and it ended up with a lot of awkward responses and uncomfortable conversations. So the best thing obviously is to form, and I think maybe Stephanie had mentioned talking about forming. So Catherine, I don't know if you want to go over that with me while I'm on the call, or if you want to go over that later, but basically just getting to know somebody enough that you're not blindly speaking to them. I think inviting can be put on a more personal level, especially if you use the voice app or the voice component on the messenger. I actually had somebody invite me to an Arbonne something that she wanted me to be on her team for that a couple days ago, and it was a great invitation. Obviously I'm not going to do it, but it was a great invitation, and she used the voice messenger. It was tasteful and made it feel more personable than following some sort of scripted copy paste. So I think when you're inviting, know why you're talking to them. If there are somebody who could benefit from something like Beachbody On Demand, if they're a new mom or they are juggling a ton of things, they can't get to the gym. I've started talking to each of the people who have responded to one of my posts that I did about why people have gym memberships and don't go, and why do you think that is? And a lot of people responded with different reasons, and a lot of those reasons are things that we can combat with home workouts, which are not for everybody, but for people who say, the reason I don't go to the gym is because I don't have time, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't like being judged at the gym, whatever. Those are perfectly good conversation starters to say, hey, I saw that you responded. Thanks for your input. Is this something that you struggle with? I've totally struggled with it before. Relate to them. And then say, that's why I like working out at home, because I don't have to, this is spilling all over me, because I don't have to deal with that kind of problem. So just having that conversation. Just dropped the phone, sorry. Having that conversation about something that they've already brought up. When I started my bikini boot camp that I have, I think I have 10 girls in there, the conversation starters were that it started with those hey girl messages to people that I've had conversations with about being in my challenge group before. Maybe they've decided that it wasn't the right time, or they didn't have the money, or it was just too much on their plate, and they wanted me to come back to them later. So this was my opening to come back later. Hey girl, bikini boot camp starts on Monday. If you want to join, I'd love to have you. So I did have several of those messages, and there were a couple people who jumped in because of those messages, but those again were conversations I'd already started. So I'm kind of going backwards here.
Can I interject? Did you guys hear how simple she said that? Do you guys hear how simple that was? hey girl, like, I know we talked about it before, like, I've got a new group starting. What do you think? It doesn't have to be a full paragraph. You're not convincing them. You're simply asking, like she did. Did Amanda overthink it when she sent the invite? Did she think, oh my gosh, what if they say no? Oh, how am I going to word this? How can I convince them? No, she simply followed up like she said she would with someone she already formed a relationship with. So it's not who the F is Amanda Sumrall on Facebook. They know who she is. They have talked before. So you see how simple she said that, right, Amanda? Sorry, just go on.
No, that's good. That's perfect. Thank you. And also, because when someone says no, I don't love when people say, oh, no doesn't mean no, it means just not right now. Sometimes no does mean no, and it's important to see the difference. And I think I've thought that it means not right now in the past, but sometimes it really does mean no. When it means not right now, when you know that, and you can always ask them, hey, I get that it's not a good time. Do you mind if I follow up with you in a month or two? I've got groups starting every month. Most people aren't going to say, no, don't ever talk to me about it again. Most people won't. So if they've already given you permission, there's no one to upset. There's no one to offend. And if you're not going for the yes, you're not trying to invite them so they'll say yes. You're just trying to say, hey, I'm still thinking about you, and you're still more than welcome to jump in whenever you're ready. I'm here for you, So it's more of a support thing. You're not just trying to, if the goal of every conversation is to sell something or to get a point or to get a commission, if that's your goal in every conversation, it's going to come off that way. People are going to see that you're trying to get something from it. So I'm kind of working backwards with this. In my initial conversations with people, I try to contact people. I don't love doing cold contacts. I try and contact people who are responding to my posts. So I've seen a lot of our teams doing posts like this, and I really love seeing it, where people are talking about how their life has changed since Beachbody's come into their life, whether it's about weight loss or more than that. And that's really the kicker for other people. There are tons of ways to lose weight, but if what you're talking about is the community, the friendship, learning to love yourself again, believing in yourself, becoming a good role model for your kids, one of the, those are the things that people are going to relate to and kind of, attach themselves to you and your story and begin following you because they can relate to those things. One of my earlier stories was when I think it was after I had started the 21 Day Fix for the first time, and I can't remember the whole story, but Cece had an option. She was either going to eat some crackers or eat an orange or something. I don't know if I was offering it or somebody in my family was offering it to her. And she chose the healthy one because she knew like which color it was. It was something where she had picked up on just watching me eat, and she was starting to make healthier choices. And even now, Cece eats breakfast and lunch at school. It's provided for her. And I don't worry about her making bad decisions, even when she comes home and she's like, we had pizza for lunch today, but I also had all my broccoli. She knows how to eat a balanced meal, and she knows what's important to her. So when you share those kinds of stories, other moms that are struggling with their kids only eating macaroni and cheese and chicken wings or whatever, they pick up on that because maybe that's something they're struggling with. So sharing stories and that can connect, that have the potential of connecting with your followers is key. Don't just share stories like, I worked out and, I'm done with my workout today or something. Like, leave something where somebody's going to connect with you, or leave with a question. Post a picture of you feeling really great, and maybe you've gone backwards. I've had a bunch of posts, especially this year, because last year was a real struggle for me, where I've gone backwards in my journey and said, here's where I was last year, and it's definitely not where I am today, but I'm ready to kick ass and to get back to this person. If you want to do this with me, I'd love some accountability partners. One of the posts that was really popular that I did last year and again this year was counting down the days until summer, like counting down the weeks until summer. So let's say there's 5 weeks until summer. I don't know. I don't have a calendar in front of me. But let's say there are 5 weeks until summer. And you post, on your picture, 1 pound a week equals 5 pounds. 2 pounds a week equals 10 pounds. 3 pounds a week equals 15 pounds. You know, how would you feel if you could lose 15 pounds before summer? And put it in a very doable visual, you know, for people who are looking at your page, because if you're just like, who wants to lose 50 plus pounds this year? That's really vague and out there, and you're not really targeting. But if you can just say, you know, when they talk about goals and they talk about specific timelines and specific goals, if you say, what if you could lose 15 pounds in the next 5 weeks or before summer starts? How would that make you feel? You know, do you want to be wearing a bathing suit this summer? Or do you want to be wearing a shirt over your, you know, shirt in the pool, or something that's tangible for somebody to connect to on a personal level, and let people respond to that, and then individually message them based on their response. Don't just send a big form letter to people. And I'm telling you this because I've done both, and I've done the really generic the form message, and I did not have as much success with that as I did with having individual responses. And sure, that takes more time, but it's much more effective, and you're actually building more genuine connections that way. Does that help answer that, Catherine?
Yeah. And, you know, Carl Deichler said at Summit 2 years ago, he said, yes, you know, structurally, we are considered an MLM, and that stands for multi-level marketing. And he said, but in my mind, I consider it a multi-level helping company. And the basis of that is we help people. And in order to help someone, we have to know them. We have to connect with them. You know, someone shared a post today on Facebook, and then someone else on my Facebook shared it. And I read the whole story from this girl, and it was a picture of her holding her baby in her little Ergo, whatever the heck it's called. And she said she was in Target, and a girl walked up to her, totally like not knowing her, and just walked up randomly, was like, oh my gosh, like asked all the generic questions. How old's your kid? Blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, hey, have you ever heard of It Works? And I'm not going to talk bad about the company, but some of the representatives from It Works are known to do this. And this woman posted in her post, she said, you know, there was clearly a reason why you chose me. You saw that I was a new mom, you know, and her comments were more about like, let's take a moment to honor like my body and what it did first, instead of you asking me, hey, you want to lose weight right away? You want to wrap that away, all that fat that you just gained after having the baby? Like, you know, she was pretty like insulted. But she wouldn't have felt that way, and she wouldn't have felt that violated about the fact that she was holding her baby and some random person walked up to her in a Target and tried to sell her It Works body wraps if they had formed a relationship with her. If they had said, hey, you're 8 weeks postpartum, how are you? I've heard you and I have made a couple comments recently on our walks about how you're feeling crappy about yourself, you know, and I want you to feel better. So, you know, why don't you join one of my accountability groups? And I don't call them challenge groups because that sounds intimidating. I call them accountability groups to everybody. And why don't you join this, and I'll help you feel better? Like, it's not about the weight loss. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel like a badass. That's why I'm going to send you, when you buy your challenge pack, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I send it to everyone who buys a challenge pack. You know, why? Oh, Jesus. The dog, sorry. Why don't I help you feel better? Not, let's wrap away that fat that you just after, you know, let's honor your body by wrapping all that away after you had a baby. Because that's how she felt. That's what she literally said in her post. Hey, babe. Sorry, just say hi. You know, that's how.
May I add something?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. Go ahead, Valentin.
I was just going to comment on exactly what you were saying. Not everybody wants to fit in a bikini. That is not the number one goal of every female on this planet, or male, or whatever. It's not always about what they look like. That's the problem for them.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And that's true. And not everyone has a body to where they're ever going to feel comfortable in a bikini necessarily. Like, you know, some people, that's not their goal. Like a woman who's in her 60s, her goal is not to like rock a bikini from Victoria's Secret, most likely. Like, I'm just saying, she just wants to feel comfortable and confident in her body and accept her body and honor the work it has done and honor the work it does for her still at 60 years old. You know what I mean? Like, so everyone's goals are different. So Amanda and I were going to give a couple of examples, and I'll give mine really quick, and then I'll give it to Amanda. Actually, Amanda, why don't you start with your conversations, just in case you have to hop on off the phone. You're unmuted.
Okay. And I wanted to interject. I didn't realize I was muted. I wanted to interject real quick. That's okay. You're right. Not everybody wants to look in a bikini. I think that I feel like I'm kind of going backwards in this inviting step, which may actually be working for me here. But before even starting to invite, you need to know your group that you're speaking to. You need to know your market. If my mom were doing this, she would not be saying, "Do you guys want to wear a bikini this summer?" Because none of them want to wear a bikini. Most of them don't even want to be in the sun because they've dealt with skin cancer. So that's not a thing. For them, it's going to be about just feeling good about themselves and feeling healthy, or maybe not being on blood pressure medication, or, maybe her thing is being around for her grandkids and she's trying to be the healthiest version she can be for herself and to be a good example for her grandkids. So identifying your market and kind of your niche group that you're speaking to is the most important thing before you even start talking to people. My group is mostly moms, either new moms who, for some strange reason, think that I know what I'm doing and they want to ask me, want to follow in my footsteps or kind of get advice from me, or people who have kids who feel overwhelmed and run down constantly and are juggling 8,000 things and want to figure out how I also can manage to fit in a workout every day and try and eat healthy. So I know who I'm speaking to, and I know that some of them, their goal is just to balance life a little bit better, and they can't juggle the gym, and they can't juggle making all these foods because it looks overwhelming and time consuming. So that's who I speak to. So I'm kind of backing up on the whole bikini comment. That's only if that's the group I'm speaking to. So once you identify your market, that's the kind of language you're going to integrate into your posts or your invitations.
Yeah, and the point is to make people feel good. So, Amanda, do you want to talk about any of your conversations specifically?
Okay, well, I can just, my most recent ones, they were all pretty similar. So I mentioned how I did the, Hey Girl Bikini Bootcamp starting on Monday. I'd love to have you in if you want to join. And I sent that out to about 15 people that I had spoken with in the last few months. And I think 2 of those people were like, yeah, actually, this is a good time. Let's do it. And a couple of them, or, the rest of them wasn't a good time. That's fine. I'll follow up with them next time. The people who I had not spoken with before, a lot of them had responded to a post I did about Bikini Bootcamp starting. And I said in my post, P.S., Beachbody has a killer deal going on right now. You cannot pass up. Like, this is the month to jump in if you're going to jump in. And a couple of people said, tell me more. So I messaged them. Don't tell them more on your post, because then if you have 15 other people who wanted to know more about it, or they're just going to read the information on your post, and you're losing an opportunity at a conversation. If you are, if you say comment below and I'll message you, that's your opportunity to build that relationship. So when I messaged them, I said, I'm really excited about this bikini boot camp. Most of us are going to be following 21 Day Fix with an added workout in each day, but we're all going to have access to everything because everyone's going to be getting the All Access Challenge Pack, which is on a crazy deal right now. Beachbody's never done something like this. And let them say, okay, well, that's great, but how much is it going to be? And I said, well, that's really the best thing. The All Access Challenge Pack, this is how much it is. It includes every workout Beachbody's ever put out, including all 3 of the new releases that come out this year. You have access to it for 12 months. So it's basically like, your gym membership, but it's for a year. You don't have to go anywhere. It also comes with the first 30 days of Shakeology. It also comes with the containers. Everything you need to get you started with 21 Day Fix, get you through this boot camp, and everything you'll need after that. So you can continue on. Which I think was kind of, was a good, I don't want to say a good sell, but it was a good point to make, that you're not just making an investment in this 3-week challenge group. Like, you're making an investment in what you were doing for these 3 weeks, and you're going to have access to it beyond here, and I'm going to help you get through it after this challenge group. We're going to keep going together. And there were 2 people that kind of scoffed at the price. And for both of them, I said, the best part is because Beachbody has a 30-day money-back guarantee, you can get through the whole 21-day group. And if you don't like what happened, what you did in the 21 days, if you don't feel satisfied or you don't feel good about yourself, you don't feel better, or for no reason at all, you can return the challenge pack and get a full refund even after going through the challenge group. And I think a lot of people are scared to throw out that money-back guarantee because you're scared you're going to lose it. People are going to return it. You're going to lose your commission and lose your points. But in my all of my years of coaching, I've only had one person ever return a challenge pack. And I'm pretty sure she set out and she had that plan before we even talked about it. But no one else has ever used it. Everyone else has been really happy with what's going on. But if the money is the hang up and you say, look, this is a 21-day program, and at the end of the 21 days, you still have a whole week to send it back, you're in the clear. That's like taking that last bit of hesitance off their shoulders.
Plus, I feel like if you don't offer that to people that are nervous about it at first, because you're afraid that they'll find that out, then I feel like then you're not confident in the products. Like I'm confident telling someone, hey, there's a money back guarantee, and I encourage you to return your empty bag for a full refund.
Right. It's like you have nothing to hide.
If you tell me you don't feel better, if you don't see a difference, if none of that happens for you, I want you to send it back, because I would do the same thing. I'd be like, this, I want $160 back right now. And I'm confident saying that. If you don't, then that's your own head. That's your mindset. And you need to look at yourself first before you continue to invite other people, because that's confidence in yourself and the product. And then that's a whole other level. Then you have to question, like, how do I feel about the products? Like, am I not coming off confident enough? Am I not showing that this works? Do I not feel like this works? Because that's going to then come out in your conversations, in your inviting.
Right.
I think that. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
that's okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hey,
I was going to say, not only that, but
Hi,
do you?
you?
Good, how are you? You're like a black phone, but okay.
I know. She had to be on the phone.
Yeah. But I mean, I've had 4 people return a challenge pack, and I told them you have a money back guarantee, and it hurt when they returned it, and I was like, how do I have a negative success club point? And it sucked. It did. But a couple months down the road, a year down the road, those are the people who weren't willing to go, on the journey, who were bad mouthing how much they hated the product, they didn't want to exercise, they hated the Shakeology. And those are not the people that you want involved in a challenge group or on your walls saying, when you say how much I like Beachbody, they're like, oh, it sucks. Oh, I hate the programs.
Right.
Oh, Shakeology. So you let them go. They have their money and they don't really have a gripe. It just didn't work for them.
And that's fine. And you know what?
I actually had.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Amanda.
I had a girl that I spoke with last month, and she, or maybe 2 months ago, and she really wanted to do it. She was like, my husband's fully supportive. I'm going to talk to him about this tonight, since I'm not, because she had just had a baby, since she wasn't working and he was making all the money. She said, he's really supportive, but let me talk to him, and then I'll get back with you in the next couple days, whatever. And we touched base again, and she said, he wants me to try it on my own first, and then, just see if I could do this on my own first. And I have the membership at the gym, and he wants me to try. And I said, okay, that's perfect. Good luck. I'm totally here if you need anything. If you have any questions, I'm here to support you. So even though I wasn't making any money from that connection, I'm still going to be supportive. Anybody on any fitness journey, more power to them. If they're doing it through me, fantastic. If they're doing it on their own, fantastic. It's a hard thing to do. So high fives to everybody who's trying to better themselves,
Yeah.
If you show people that you're genuinely supportive no matter what, then that's one thing. She came back to me this month with the Bikini Boot Camp, and she was like, okay, she commented or something, and I said, hey, how's the working out going? How are things going at the gym? And she was like, yeah, that lasted like 2 days. Not happening. I think I'm finally ready. And so I went through everything. I went through the price. I went through what was included in it. And she's like, I still feel like I just can't quite wrap my hands around that price. And I'm so sorry. I know I've done this to you before. Like, we had days long conversations. And I said, girl, do not apologize. I want you to be absolutely confident in what you're doing. I want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to do this because I'm twisting your arm. I want you to be ready. Can you come in there with the dog? I want you to be ready and jump in this when you're ready. And I'm here for you, regardless. So there were 2 no's from her, but it's still, she still knows that I'm here no matter what. And if she ever has questions, she'll come to me. When she's ready, she's going to come to me, because I'm not the one that kept trying to squeeze some points out of her or some commission out of her. I'm the one that was telling her, don't buy it if you're not confident. I don't want you to doubt yourself. I don't want you to question what we're doing here. I want you to jump in with both feet.
Jessica Pasola said in one of her trainings that 7 of her star diamonds said no to her at least 5 times. And some of them even said, stop spamming me with your pyramid scheme. She actually told her, you're like a dirty pyramid scheme person and it's awful. And they're now star diamonds in her business. She legitimately said that in the inviting surge. So fine, that's fine. And, a great way to help with that is doing it, the feel, felt, found. I completely feel you, girl. Like, I get what you're saying. I felt that way too. And what I found was this, and it's incredibly effective. It's very effective. And like I said, if you aren't having success and you feel like, well, I'm saying all the right stuff, I'm doing all the right stuff, maybe it's you. Maybe it's your mindset. Maybe you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to take a hard look in the mirror. And I know that that's hard for some people to hear, that they might be the problem. But to be honest, it might not be them. It might be you and your mindset. It's the whole, it's not me, it's you. No. It's actually me. It might be your mindset and how you feel, about yourself, about the value you provide, about the products, about, it could be anything. That's up to you to determine. But, that might be the problem at the end of the day. So I'll read really quick an invite that I sent today to a girlfriend of mine. She and I studied together for boards. During nursing school, I asked if she wanted to join. She said no, it was too busy. I totally understood that. I reached out to her, asked her to help me with studying. We've been checking in forever now.
Brian.
We've been checking in forever, like just about work and everything. And I know that she started her new job. So in my post today, I posted the percentage, 67% of people, who have a gym membership don't use it. What do you guys think about that? Or post your comments below. And it has started some great conversations. And so my friend commented on it saying, I need to get back into it. For me, it's the time, blah, blah, blah. I'm so exhausted after my 12-hour shifts. I commented back. I said, I feel you. I'm about to have a super busy schedule too. I sent her a private message, and here's exactly what I said. Hey, Missy, and we were just talking earlier today about my new job opportunity. So I was just talking to her today, totally unrelated. Hey, Missy, I have a new accountability group starting on Monday, and I would love to have you jump in if you want. The workouts are 30 minutes or less for a ton of them and range anywhere from kickboxing to yoga. If you want to join and work on your health, let's do it together. I'll be super busy with my new position too, but let's hold each other accountable and support one another to make us a priority even with our new busy schedules. And then I texted her totally separate a few minutes later, and I said, oh, and I got a call to confirm, here's my new job. It's confirmed I have this new job, so I will be busy. And she wrote, her comment was, I'm in, something's got to give. And I said, believe me, I totally know what you're feeling like, and I'm excited for you to jump in. I have some extra awesome stuff planned for this month's group. Let's start by making your free account. That was it. And then I sent her, I tried to send a video message, but you can only send 15 seconds, so that didn't work out. But that was my conversation, and so she and I are moving towards her getting a challenge pack. So we've known each other. I've connected with her with other things having to do with outside of Beachbody. She is a friend of mine, and I would hang out with her regardless of her being in my groups or not. And that's what you want. If I am only invested in somebody because of a challenge group, then that's not the right time to invite. And also, if that's always your priority is, to connect simply for a challenge group, and that's the only reason why you would talk to somebody, then first of all, that's not your target market. If that person you don't vibe with at all, and you wouldn't talk to them regardless of a challenge pack sell. And second, like your mindset's not right. So again, I'm going to circle back to, it might be you and your mindset, which is what's not working for you, not necessarily the products or anything like that. So, you can look at, or my post salesy. No, look at everything, but then also look at yourself. Look in the mirror and think about what you think and what you bring to the table. And because Beachbody programs are already proven, hundreds of thousands of people do this. We already know they work, but you need to make sure that you work, that you are in this. So, that's the biggest thing. I liked when Amanda said, like, know why you're talking to them. That's what I was just saying. Like, know why you're talking to that person. Like, if I didn't like her, then I wouldn't invite her to a challenge group. And if I didn't feel like I could genuinely help her, then I wouldn't invite her to a challenge group, because then it won't work out anyway. There'll just be another past Success Club point that I got $30 from one time a couple of years ago. They just turn into that statistic. They just turn into, Success Club points from years ago. You know what I mean? They're not someone that's a valued customer, that you value their friendship. And at the end of the day, that's what matters is the legacy you leave with other people and the impression. And that's what makes you feel good. And that's the fulfillment that you get with this business. So, Amanda, let me unmute you again, since I did my reading. Did you want to add anything else? I know you might have to get going in a minute.
I love your conversation that you just shared. That was perfect. I think if you guys haven't shared that 67% post yet, Catherine did one on her page today. I did one.
60 comments. 60. Great conversation start. 60 comments I have on there. Great way to just connect with people and just see where people are at.
Yeah, I did that. I did it a couple of days ago, and it was a really good post. A lot of engagement. So if you haven't shared that post, do it. See what you get. If you don't know how to answer somebody, that's what these groups are for. If you need to ask questions and you're not sure how to address a situation or address a comment, ask your success partner or ask in the group. And we'd be happy to help you with those. But Catherine, I love your conversation that you just shared. Thank you.
Yeah. And someone had mentioned in the comments, inviting without sounding salesy or stupid. And honestly, if you're sending an invite and you sound salesy or stupid, again, I want you to stop. Think about your mindset. Think about who you're inviting to it. If it's someone you don't know, right, then you're clearly being salesy. If it's someone you don't know.
And
go on.
The other thing is I think look at how long your posts are or how long your conversations are. If you've sent a message to somebody and they have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to read from the top to the bottom of one conversation, or if you've sent several in a row, don't do that. If you wouldn't sit there and lecture somebody for 5 minutes and then let them finally respond, if that's not how a conversation works. You don't do that in real life. Have a conversation in writing. So if it's, you say a couple things and then you let them respond, make sure you're giving them a chance to respond. Otherwise it's so much people don't want to respond. And that's, I think, where a lot of people read the message, but they never said anything. Maybe it was just too much, Have a conversation with somebody. Don't look at it as inviting, look at it as conversing with somebody.
Exactly. And for some reason, the voice message option on Facebook has been acting wonky lately. Send a 15-second video message or try to send a voice message. And after it sends the message after 10 seconds a couple times, first of all, we're all not perfect. So that's okay. I sent my friend, and I didn't read it out loud because it was a video. I sent her 15 seconds of me starting to describe the All Access Challenge Pack this month, and it cut me off at 15 seconds. And then I said, the voice message app isn't working. I'll just type it all out to you. So it's okay. We're all human. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the more perfect it is, the more people think that there's a droid on the other side of the line and not a real human being. And so I sent her 4 messages. One was a video, one was 10 seconds of a voice message. And then I finally typed it all out because I was like, all right, F this. Because it was everything else was being difficult. So that's okay. So honestly, if you sound salesy or stupid, first stop and consider those factors that Amanda and I just went over, and then there's other, so, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And that is so true. It's like riding a bike. Like you don't just hop on a bike and just go without training wheels. Like the more you do it, you'll get better at it. You'll find a way that feels more natural to you. You'll find a way to invite in your own personality. But that doesn't start. You don't find your inviting personality by not inviting at all. You don't find out who you are and how you feel comfortable inviting and getting to know people until you actually do it. So the only answer really is to just effing do it. And
right. And if you are not someone that says, "Hey girl," don't message "Hey girl." You know, if you, I mean, that's goes for anything, but if that doesn't sound like what you would say in real life, don't type it.
Yeah. I've said, "Hey babe, hey Missy, how you doing?" I've said, "Hey girl," I've said their names. Sometimes I don't say any of those. I just go, "How you doing?" And we text back and forth, and then I'll send one without having to say their name because we were just commenting back and forth, you know? So do whatever feels natural to you in an invite. Like, however, and if you need to like contact your upline and say, "Listen, I want to practice an invite with you on the phone," and literally pretend like you're on the phone with someone, like how you speak, type it. How you speak, type it. Like I can't encourage that enough. Instead of making it perfect, don't use perfect punctuation. You're not writing a term paper. If you're writing a term paper, don't use you, the letter U, use YOU. But in a message to someone, maybe sure, because whatever, you know, I'm just saying, like, make it more relaxed and, you know, I don't know, just. And
one good way to do that is to do the voice to text. Always proof it before you send it, but do the voice to text. Then you're actually literally speaking, like, you know, you're typing like you would speak because you are speaking it.
Oh yeah. All my text messages to like Amanda today, I was like driving. I know I don't want to hear about it. I know I was driving, but you know, I know Valency's like horrified, but I was voice to text. I was like, blah, 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 blah. And I hit send because it wasn't like a formal anything. It was just like, you know, people that are on this call and stuff. So like if there's if Siri makes a mistake, like she tends to do, it doesn't matter. But you know what I mean? Like that's a great way to practice just talking and just saying it. And it feels more natural, and less writing feels more natural, you know, just whatever, or practice saying it out loud. Like I've said stuff to Danny and he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just talking about this. Like, I'm going to send this thing to somebody and I wanted to see how it sounded out loud." And he was like, "Well, you should take your meds, Catherine." And I'm like, "Okay." You know, but like I'm just saying, like, you know, just say it out loud and see how it sounds. And if it sounds, "Hello, join my MLM," and like this weird, like if it sounds robotic, I wouldn't answer your text.
Yeah.
Well, if it sounds robotic, then don't do it. And if you sound stupid, stop and do those steps we just talked about.
Exactly. I have to jump off.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda.
Ready to get in the driver's seat. You're welcome.
Okay.
But can you go over, I know somebody had asked about forming. I think Stephanie asked about it.
Okay.
Can you just kind of go over what that means? So it kind of rolls into all of this.
Forming the relationships?
What it means. Like ask them about, you know, their family, their occupation, their, you know, all that. That would be good. Okay, cool. Love you guys. Thanks for jumping on the call.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, forming is another important one. I have a whole list of things that people were talking about. So yeah, forming. Again, don't talk to people that you don't vibe with. Like, don't talk to someone you don't like. If you find that someone has like loose morals and like, you know, whatever, loose something, then don't talk to them. Like, even go so far as to remove them from your friends list, especially if I've removed some people recently that I'm like, God, your posts are obnoxious and you're negative, and I think that you're just like a piece of crap on this earth. Like, if that's how I feel about someone, why the hell would I talk to them? I would not be friends with this person in real life. Like, so why would I be friends with them now? It's hard because there's a disconnect with social media and with Facebook, and you need to bring that connection to Facebook. And that's not easy, but you can. And people do. The top coaches, they do, you know? And so you have to really use that. And so like all the people that I talk to and I follow up with, I know, I know that like, I'll follow up like, okay, so I had a message. I'll check real quick if everybody could just bear with me, because I can think of one right off the spot. So I sent a message to a girl who I did a talk about coaching. She had bought a challenge pack from a coach before, fell out of it. I had still messaged her, even if I knew she bought a challenge pack from another coach. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. She reached out to me a while ago, said, I'm thinking about coaching, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, Jeff, oh, I don't want to say anybody's name. Hey, how is everything going? She said, I'm doing all right. How are you? I said, I'm great. I was just thinking about you, wondering if things are improving. She was having some issues in her life. She said, they are. You are so sweet and thoughtful, Catherine. I really hope you know that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you just randomly check on me and go out of your way to see how I am. You are a very special person. I've been having feelings of life-changing events this year and feeling like I have no friends because the people in my life never have time. Yet here you are, just wondering how I am. It reminds me to love what I have and to choose the people that surround me to have the same loving attitude. I just want to say I appreciate you. I literally just read that from my phone verbatim. And I said, you're so sweet. I said, yeah, I had that feeling a few years ago too. And I really needed to prioritize my friends and family. You know, it's hard. It takes time. Doesn't matter the rest of the conversation. I'm using that as an example. I made that person feel good. And whether or not she decides to join my coaching team eventually, right now is a hard time in her life. The point is, she knows I'm thinking about her. And did it take me a lot of time to send her a message and say, how are you? Are things improving? Yes, no. I'm thinking of you. I mean, does it take that much time? And if you feel like it takes that much time away from your life, then you're probably in the wrong business. Again, we're going to circle back to your mindset. And it made me feel so good to know that I made her feel good. That message warmed my heart. It warmed my heart and my soul. So that is forming. I know that she's struggling with certain aspects of her life. I know that her daughter has health issues she was born with. She and I have talked about that because I'm a nurse. And so I've probed her about asking about these health issues. And, as an example, you get to know someone genuinely. Okay. Like, it's really not that much effort to send a hey girl, but you don't actually have to say hey girl if someone wouldn't normally say hey girl. I just said, how are you? I didn't say, hey, how are you? How is your health and fitness? And how are you doing? Are you able to hop back on again? No, I haven't even brought it up again since then. I simply said, I'm really glad that you're feeling like you want to change and to take toxic people out of your life. I've done it. It feels amazing. It's hard at first. She knows I'm thinking about her so that when she's having a low day, I've mentioned before, there's, a girl that has sent me a message who has some chronic back pain. And she told me, on my crappiest days, I go to your Facebook feed. So consider that stuff.
Well, another thing too, and not to interrupt, but even on forming, what I started looking at it as, forming is actually something that if you don't think about what you're doing, you're actually doing it well, or I would hope so. For example, I think yesterday I got on Facebook for a little bit, at night, just trying to clear out some messages, and then I saw things scrolled up. The so-and-so group has been archived. This group has been archived. And I was like, what group is that? And I go and I click on it. It's a group that I never even agreed to be in. I don't even know what they were selling. It was like some kind of marketplace where everybody was selling everything. And I'm thinking, who put me in this? I don't even know the person who was the admin. I mean, that was how weird this whole thing was. But another way to look at it is you have a connection with somebody, and would you take somebody that you didn't like or you had no connection with and take them out to dinner and pay for their dinner? Or would you find somebody that you liked, find a connection, have conversation, have a meal together, and you wouldn't mind paying for their dinner? So it's like if, when people talk to me and they're all salesy, they're not going to want to buy me a cup of coffee anywhere, not even at McDonald's, and I probably wouldn't them either. And you just kind of know, it's like taking it off the personal level. It's like if you're not willing to take that person virtually out to dinner, a nice dinner, and spend that time with them, then you move on, because it may not work.
Yeah, agreed. And what else were we going to talk about? So yeah, forming, I hope that answers the question thoroughly enough. You also want to consider forming a relationship with people through your posts. Make sure that you're just being you. Like when you're posting, again, use the voice to type out a post and then go back and just edit stuff or whatever, but do it in your notes app on your phone or whatever first, and act as if you're talking to a friend or talking to an old version of yourself, And so another thing that someone was talking about is sharing how to share the value of Shakeology. First of all, like talk about the sacrifices you made to do this. So, so for example, like Valency, can share, like when I started this, like I dipped into my savings account to join, and I had picked up an extra job to make sure that I could afford this every month, or it was considered a non-negotiable for my husband and myself to have a bag. We share one bag every month because we have to for now, and we plan on getting two when we can. And, share why it is, don't just post I'm having my shake and, my daily dose of dense nutrition. Don't say that. It says that on the package. Like, don't say that. Don't call it a daily dose of dense nutrition. They have that tagline already on the bag. We don't need to do that. We are not salesy like that. That's, share why you're drinking it. Share, so Keisha Fitzgerald has shared that she drinks it because her boyfriend has a degree in biochem. So they did research with his biochem and her, like, researching together, and they just said, wow, like, this is friggin' awesome. I've said before, as a nurse, I researched myself the ingredients and everything, and I wanted something that was going to be healthy and would help me, increase my metabolism and help me lose weight in a healthy way without the caffeine, without the just jacking up all my organs on stuff so they all work faster. And then I get adrenal fatigue because I just jacked myself up on like caffeine and crap and whatever else is, I wanted something that was as minimally processed as possible. Because if I'm trying to eliminate other processed foods, why would I then drink a processed crap? Talk about the sacrifices you made or make on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to afford it, the sacrifices you make to drink it, what you do and why. Just share that on your social media, share that. And then in your challenge groups to continue people on Shakeology, like every week with my new group, I'm going to talk about like one or two ingredients. I'm going to go live in my group, my challenge group, and talk about a couple of the ingredients. I did it one time in my last group, and I was going to kind of hold out till my new group with new people and everything in it for like the challenge that I have planned to do that, and just kind of finish doing research and kind of I want to be properly prepared and armed with knowledge on it. But, and again, talking about it with confidence, like talking about it, knowing if you have doubts about Shakeology and if you have doubts about this or that, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Again, I'm going to circle back. Everybody see a theme here. Go back to your mindset. Go back to the stuff between your ears. Do you truly believe that this is that valuable? Are you drinking it every single day?
I was gonna add that because I hear whispers, and I'm not gonna. It's not anyone in particular, but not every coach takes it on a regular basis. And I'm thinking, why? Why would you not take one of the best tools that we have? I mean, for me, it's like an absolute necessity. It's part of my pain control.
And that's what Valency has shared before. Like,
keeps me from having to take them.
Yeah. And just like, what's her name? Shay Stanford had said, she shared, I got rid of my medicine cabinet because I no longer needed a medicine cabinet. I don't have Advil. I don't have, laxatives. I don't have a prescription, stuff for my migraines. I don't have stuff to help me get things moving. I don't have stuff to help stop it. I don't have, supplements like vitamin A, B, C, D, whatever. I don't have an entire closet like I used to. Just stuff like that. I've gotten rid of this or that. And,
it's been a non-negotiable for me from day one. And we talk about that in Super Saturday. You know, we're talking about, you know, because we had Keyshawn Graves, and she's a Southeast regional, like vice president or whatever. And she stood up and she's like, you know, why would you not drink it? And I said, it's been a non-negotiable. I've had to sacrifice. I've had to literally put, you know, $30 away each week aside to know, you know, I couldn't go out. I couldn't do some things. You know, I had to be really careful at the grocery store. It was non-negotiable. I couldn't afford it. You know, I'm talking about living off of $100 a week and then making sure that that 30 is set aside. So when it came out, I knew when it was going to come out every month on the 28th. It's just done. So people will say, well, I just can't do it this month or do this. We've talked about this before. You know, they go out and they buy a new bag or a purse. They're going on vacation or they can do cards. Like, yeah, you can. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And I said it's been non-negotiable for me. And it was just funny because, you know, first we started doing it. Amanda was like, we just do it because it's good for you. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't even research it. Just the confidence that she has, I fed it to my daughter. My mom drinks it. I drink it. You know, she mentioned people and I talked to them. I tried it and it was good. And they're all like, we drink it because it's the best thing for us. That was all the sale pitch that I need because it was honest. It was a personal account. It was, I recommend this. I drink it. I would trust it to my family. And then when I did research on it, because someone's like, oh, you're the MLM company, you're getting scammed. I was like, no, I'm not. And please don't mess with my Shakeology. I'm going to keep drinking it. Oh, you're in one of those pyramid marketing scheme. I'm like, no. And so when I researched it and I started watching the Shay Stanford video, which is about an hour and a half long, and she really goes through all the ingredients. Darren O'Lean has one. You know, I think Isabel Deichler even has one that's floating out there from a couple of years ago. But I mean, it's like, why would I not? And that's where I left it. Why would I not? Every day. Because my friend Jo, she's like, well, on MyFitnessPal, it's like every breakfast is Shakeology. And I said, that's because every breakfast is Shakeology.
Yeah. Someone shared, a coach that I know shared like that I start my day in the best way possible. I sweat and then I shake. And, you know, someone said to me, you know, I replied to someone's comment in my post about the 67% of people today. And I said, to me, someone had said, you know, people don't do it because eating healthy is more expensive. And I said, well, to me, I've gone to Whole Foods and I've had a salad, which is the same cost as a burger, fries, and a soda at In-N-Out Burger. And I've had a chicken salad and I felt fabulous and it was great for the exact same price. And I said, plus to me, even if it is, let's say $1 more expensive, I think of it this way. I either pay now in the cost of my food or I pay later with medications, bills, surgeries, etc. I pay monetarily, I pay physically, I pay mentally later. And I'd rather pay now. And that's literally was my comment back to her. And so that's it. Just be confident knowing like what Shakeology is. Educate yourself. If not, we will do a training. I will do a training on Shakeology. We will share Shay Stanford's videos because she's very knowledgeable about that stuff.
And I got to add one more thing too. You know, when Catherine told me about, you know, Shakeology, PiYo, all this in the first place, the only reason I didn't tell her to go F off was because she was my buddy.
Because I had a relationship with her. I built a relationship. So let's circle back to that too.
Yeah. And even though, you know, we hadn't been talking like nearly as frequently as we do now, she had still kept in touch with me. She was coming across from a very loving, caring space of, I really think this could help you. I still told her no like 5 times.
I was 100% convinced.
Shakeology is for lazy people. I literally said that because I thought, you know, I've been dabbling with herbalism and, you know, nutrition supplements and dealing with adrenal fatigue for a very, very long time. So I was already familiar with half the ingredients in there. And I thought, oh, well, I can just look at those ingredients and formulate my own stuff. By the time I went and did my own research before getting into any of this, I came to the conclusion there is nothing out on the market that even comes close. And the amount of money and time and effort it would take to be able to duplicate that recipe and make it palatable is just insane. So what I ended up making me finally say yes was honestly when she told me about the empty bag guarantee, because that to me spoke of the confidence of the company itself in its own product.
And again,
And
because I had
felt-
formed a relationship with
Yeah.
Valency before, I also knew her husband, and I knew that Clinton would feel better knowing that I 100% said, I will advocate for you and ensure you that you get $160 back, with your challenge pack. And they both wanted a phone call with me, and I knew that I would be probed. And I was so confident, and I said, what time do you want to talk? I knew Clint would be on the phone with Valency. It wouldn't just be her. And I went into it knowing, like, I'm confident that I'm going to literally walk Clint through his order today. I knew it because I know my products, and I know how I can help Valency, and I know that Clint wants to help his wife feel better. And I know that Clint wants to feel better. And I know that Clint values
being
health.
our wedding gift to ourselves prior to getting married.
Then they ended up getting not only hammer and chisel for Clint, but they got Pio for her, and they split Shakeology to make it work every month, and so make sure that you share that value. Just, you pay now or you pay later, bottom line. And you could literally put that into a post. How to get attention on posts. Okay, so getting attention on your posts. Again, that's connecting with other people. So getting more attention on your posts, that's a whole other talk. That's a whole other training that we don't have time for right now. But Facebook has this thing where with the affinity, and you private messaging people, replying to comments, and commenting on other people's posts on Facebook all increase your affinity. And which is why I also ask, when you ask thought-provoking questions, like I'm going to this week ask a question about swimsuits, and I'm going to say, what swimsuit do you guys like best? Because people love to share their opinions. And they love to share their opinions, so that increases my affinity on Facebook. But also, people that wouldn't normally comment on my inspirational posts on Facebook will comment, and that just gives me a connection to them, like, hey, why did you like that suit more, or whatever. And it just creates a conversation with them, and I get to just form another friendship of why. What if she commented like, girl, I don't like any of those because the swimsuit I have would give you like a rockin' bod. So like, let me share with you where I got mine. And I'd be like, girl, like send that to me, just conversing.
Yeah.
Okay. Like talking to people. I mean, I talk to people in like Starbucks lines. I don't know if you guys like awkwardly talk to people in Starbucks lines like I do, but I feel like it's the same thing. Like I'm on Facebook, you're in line. You know what I mean? Like same thing. Like I'm on Facebook, you're on Facebook. Let's say hi. I'm in line, you're in line. We're waiting for 20 minutes for our Starbucks drink. Let's say hi. It's the same thing. Just because it's on a computer doesn't mean it has to be impersonal and weird. Okay. Don't make it weird.
Yeah.
Let's not make this weird, guys.
People like to help. They like to feel useful.
Yeah.
I noticed that like some of the posts that I get the most interaction on isn't necessarily like a typical opinion post as much as like when I was getting up super early during the winter time and I needed some help with learning how to de-ice my windshield more effectively. I got 100+ responses on a 1-sentence question, just saying, help, how do you de-ice your windshield?
And I got some pretty saucy replies when I commented on that from somebody who thought they knew what they were doing. And I'm like, yeah, it was just funny. Like, who cares? That's also kind of why I
there were full conversations happening. It was great.
Yeah, it was fabulous. It's just a way to increase your affinity on Facebook, but then just create conversations. And don't think of it as a strategy like, oh, I'm going to post that to increase my affinity. Don't think like that, because then don't always think strategy. Just think, I'm curious what people think. I'm curious why people think that 67% of people who have a gym membership don't go, and
Where did you get that statistic, by the way? I have a lot of fact checkers that like to call me on the carpet.
So the reason that a few coaches have shared that statistic is because at Super Saturday this past weekend, and by the way, the video from Super Saturday,
I still need to see that. Yeah.
It should be in our back office by now. I'll double check. But anyway, Carl Eichler shared that statistic. I don't know where he got it. We will find it somewhere. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did research. Believe me, with hundreds of thousands of people watching it, I'm sure he did. But we can look up the research ourselves. But that is where it came from. Was Carl Eichler. So I'm not one to follow trends and do what other coaches are doing, which is like, you know, this thing, but shush. Hey, that is enough. I know you're excited about Carl Deichler, but that is enough. Anyway, so that's why I decided to follow that one trend, simply because I am curious. So, and I saw how many comments everyone else was getting, and I was like, I wonder who would come out of the woodwork to share with me, you know, like what it is. You know, I was just curious, like who would comment. So I hope this answers. I think I answered the bulk of a lot of questions. I have more on here, but we're kind of out of time. So I'll answer some more either privately, or we can extend a call, or I will go live this weekend and share some more answers. But I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you so much for jumping on. And of course, let's continue these conversations. We'll go live and answer more questions. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Love you guys.